Hey everyone, in this episode, we're recapping the last 3 games we've played. We talk about what leadership is and why Tyler Toffoli, Josh Anderson, and Jake Allen have got it. Should Cole Caulfield be called up? We swing around the league. We laugh at the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltending. We talk Sidney Crosby, a little Taylor Hall, a little Gary Bettman, and a lot of Connor McDavid. This is Fumble Puck for this week. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back to Fumble Puck. It's been a little over a week since we've chatted with you, so good to have everybody back. I'm here with Ashley. Ashley, question. Do you have snow outside your house right now?
I do. I didn't 2 days ago, and actually I had a little bit of a blizzard about an hour ago. Really weird. It's still snowing as I look outside now. Do you have snow outside your house?
I do. I had some show up yesterday, and I was really annoyed by it. By 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it was all gone. So I figured, okay, well, that's over. That's wonderful. And then I woke up today, and there was more snow.
Oh, no, we've had a steady, constant flow of it since yesterday morning.
This sucks.
It does. It's supposed to be plus 18 also on Saturday.
I hope so, because I'm a summer person. I hate winter. So the quicker it gets warm, the happier I'm going to be.
Happy, I think, in about 2 days. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
You never know with this.
You never know.
No.
What's new with you? What's going on?
I finished school last night, so I'm really, really happy. I've been taking the certificate course at the U of T online, obviously, and I had my last course last night, so my third course is done, so I should be getting my certificate within the next 4 to 6 weeks, I think, at my grade by Tuesday, I believe. So I'm really, 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 really happy about that.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I took COVID and went back to school. It was 1 to 2 hours a week. It wasn't a lot, but yeah. And what's up with you?
Not much. I have been working all week and it's been good. I did get to catch up on another episode of The Mighty Ducks, and I realized I have a gripe with the show.
Okay, what's your gripe?
So the kid from Canada who now plays on the team.
The Toronto Maple Leafs kid? Yeah, boo.
Yes, this is the issue. So his name is Ledoux, last name is Ledoux.
And why is he wearing a Maple Leafs jersey instead of a Habs jersey?
Yeah, so I feel like the show was written by an American who just took a Quebecois name and assumed that all Canadians speak French and are, Quebecois, and he made him a Leafs fan. So you have to pick one there. You either have to change the name or you have to make him a Habs fan. I feel like that's a very American way to look at Canadian hockey.
It's also disturbing. Why am I stuck seeing a Maple Leaf shirt all the time? There's also a Minnesota Wild shirt, which makes sense because it's based in Minnesota. But yeah,
I'm happy that they at least are branding teams. I think that's cool.
I just wish it was not the Toronto Maple Leafs. I agree with you.
Yeah, and if you're going to have the Toronto Maple Leafs be represented in some kind of a fictional story, this is way better than the Love Guru.
I never saw that.
Don't. If you like Mike Myers, don't sully your image of him by watching that garbage movie.
I will not. Thank you for the warning. I'm not a huge Mike Myers fan, but thank you for the warning. I appreciate it. I like the show, though. I still like Mighty Ducks. I think it's really cute.
Yes, I do. I enjoy it. It's one of my Disney go-tos now, aside from Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously.
Yeah, somebody I think who I like is actually on that show, but I don't remember who they are. Hold on. Let me Google this.
There's a lot of Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are the stars.
I've never heard of either of those two people.
That's weird. I feel like you know more about Hollywood than I do.
I do, but I don't know who those two people are.
Anthony Mackie's A-list now.
Who?
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, no.
That's weird.
Oh, it's Emily Van Camp who's on it. Montrealer. What? Yeah, I like her. That's who it was.
Oh, she's a Montrealer?
Yep. Well, sort of. She went to school here for a bit or something.
She plays Sharon Carter in the Marvel universe. She's a big deal. Yeah,
she went to some summer training in Montreal, and she went to the ballet school in Canada. Go me. How did I actually remember that? I actually know somebody who worked with her. Anyways.
It's weird that you know who she is, but not Anthony Mackie.
Well, Emily Van Camp's been in a ton of shit, including a show that I watched called Revenge that she was the star of.
Also, Sebastian Stan, I feel like everybody knows who that is.
Nope, but he's kind of cute, but nope.
Wasn't he on Gossip Girl or something like that? I don't know.
I didn't watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. I don't watch a lot of things that people think he was on Gossip Girl, but I don't watch a lot of things that people think I watch. So he was the Mad Hatter on Once Upon a Time. I watched that back in the day. I think I stopped watching right when he joined it, though.
There you go. He's been in the Marvel universe since 2011. He's like one of the OG Marvel characters. Like he was in the first Captain America movie, and he's been with Marvel ever since. So he's like celebrating 10 years in this franchise.
Yeah, I don't know who him or Anthony Mackie is. Sorry.
That's nuts.
But Anthony Mackie's from New Orleans, and I've been to New Orleans. So does that give me a little bit more cred? No way.
No, because New Orleans, that just makes me jealous because New Orleans is literally the top of my bucket list.
New Orleans is I've been there like 5 times, and it's probably my least favorite place I've ever gone.
I can know for a fact I would love it there.
I don't know, man. It's really sketchy. Really sketchy. I'm like, no, not a fan. No, I mean, I went for work, so given I haven't really had the chance to see the whole New Orleans deal, but I did go on a tour last time I was there. The tour was cool, and their beignets are amazing. Oh my God. Oh,
yeah, Cajun cuisine. Yes, please. There's
a really good restaurant there if you ever go called Moulatte's, and they have amazing Cajun food, and it's so good. And I don't even like Cajun food, but they have this amazing Alfredo dish, and it is so good. Oh.
Cajun food is amazing. I love Cajun food.
So you'd probably love the food there is actually really good.
And the music and the temperature. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was snowing when I was there one time.
Oh, okay, well, that changes everything.
Also, one time I was in Houston, same time of year, it was January, and it was snowing in Houston. This is my favorite Houston story, besides how sketchy downtown Houston's even sketchier than New Orleans. Well, they're on par, but people were outside throwing kitty litter down on the ground when it was snowing and icy, and then they were using credit cards to scrape off their windshield wipers, like their windshields. So funny.
You know what else is cool about Houston?
What?
It's the future home of the Arizona Coyotes. See how I did that there to swing it back to hockey? See how good I am at doing that?
I love it. Except
one day the Houston Coyotes will be a team.
You think?
Before the Quebec Nordiques are back. Yes, I do.
That's funny. Well, I was actually staying near the Houston, I think it's the Houston Stars or something. No, it can't be Stars. That's the
Texas Stars. Yeah, that's the name of their team.
Yeah, so they play right in Houston, and I was staying. I thought about going to a game, but I couldn't. Again, I was there for work. I was there also like 5 times. I've been to like Houston and New Orleans 5 times each for work. But yeah. Anyways.
Jealous.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think Seattle's coming into the league? They're going to be the 32nd team. There are some people who say they don't want any more teams because they're worried about the talent getting diluted. Where do you stand on that? Do you want more teams, or do you think there's too many?
As long as we have an elite superstar or 2, I don't care how many teams there are. Just give me superstar talent.
So if we had an elite superstar on our team or a couple, would you want less than 32 players? Less than 32 teams, exactly 32 teams, or more than 32 teams?
I think 32 teams is the perfect amount of teams, to be honest, because it's not because of the talent being diluted, but it's because the odds of winning a cup already are so slim to none. And then you added more and more teams. It's going to be like 1 in 64 soon. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that would end up increasing the value of like your Prince of Wales trophy or, like the conference trophy. They would probably get more prestigious, I suppose. I like the idea of more teams. I think it's fun. I think like I could watch any team play hockey. So I'm kind of a sucker for that, right? There is an argument to be made that if you value if there's 60 teams, there's not really much point in competing for a Stanley Cup. I think you're right on that.
That's kind of my issue. Also, do you think they should be awarding any trophies this year? And such a messed up. I mean, McDavid and Matthews are just going to win them all because of where they're playing. That's not really fair. Do you think it's fair?
So I have thoughts on that. I think the trophies should be handed out this year. I think I don't think McDavid and Matthews are leading in their categories because of the division they play in necessarily. Like maybe a little bit, but the how far they are ahead of their peers also matters, right? So like, yeah, McDavid has, 30 more points than the next person or whatever. If he was playing in a different division, he'd be 20 points ahead. He's still 20 points ahead, which is still insane, right?
Yeah, but if you look at, like, for example, Washington, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Boston, Rangers, Philly, New Jersey, ignoring New Jersey and Buffalo, those other teams are way more competitive than us. Like, our team, the Habs, we wouldn't even be we'd be 6th in the Mass Mutual East. We'd be 6th in Discover. And, we'd be fourth in the Honda West. So, and even if you take like Winnipeg at 57 points, they would be fourth in the Mass Mutual East. They would be fourth in the Discover Central, and they would be fourth in the Honda West. So I would have to say our division seems a little bit easy compared to which is funny because we're having issues. Even Toronto would be tied for third/fourth in Mass Mutual. They'd be fourth in Discover, and they'd be third/fourth in the Honda West. So
maybe that just speaks to how great those players are, though, right? Is that they create that much separation from their teams in their division. I don't know.
I find it interesting. that was probably.
I think like the Rocket Richard trophies, Matthews, no matter what, right? He's got it locked up basically. The Hart trophies, McDavid's, there's no debate about it unless you wanted to try to slip Connor Hellebuck in there and I'd have time for it, but there's no way he's beating McDavid, The Norris trophy, I would say like if Kel McCarr didn't miss time, it might be him, right? But there's a couple of like good young defensemen that are looking like they might be winners this year. That's kind of cool.
Poor Jeff.
Is Mark Bergevin still GM of the year?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so, huh?
No.
Damn. We had a rocky week. We had a rocky week for Montreal. We got shut up by the Sens. We got smoked by Edmonton, and then we eked out a win last night.
Yeah. Yes.
So I have some neon knee-jerk reactions for you.
Okay.
That I'm going to share with you.
I'm excited.
I'm curious to see your thoughts on these names.
Okay.
First up,
yes.
I'm sure you thought this one was coming.
Yes.
Connor McDavid.
I knew it was coming. He's a dirty little cheap shot bitch. Did you know that?
That is very passionate as a response. That is what I like when it comes to neon knee-jerk reactions.
Did you know he was such a little cheap shot artist?
So, like, the only thing I don't know is this. Like, I was trying to think to myself last night, like, is Connor McDavid a dirty player, or is he just unable to control his emotions? Like, is he so angry about getting hit? Because, like, he talks about how often he gets hit without getting called, and he's right. He does, right? Is this him just being like, I need to take justice into my own hands, or is he dirty? I don't know, but either way, it sucks.
Well, I'm sorry. What the hell did Paul Byron do to him? Have you seen Paul Byron?
Yeah, he doesn't try that on Weber.
Well, go ahead. Please do. Let's see Weber's retaliation, because I think Weber would retaliate for once, and I'd love to see it. I won't mind if Corey Perry takes a stab at him either. What is this shit? Oh.
Yeah, it's so annoying seeing a guy of Connor McDavid's caliber play like that.
It is. It's upsetting to me. It actually bothers me. And I was really pissed last night when he did it, like, I don't know, 6 times. Oh my God. He had more elbows in the game than he had points.
Well, he still had like 3 points, right? So.
And he had like 4 or 5 elbows. So I still win on that point. Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, he is really good. He doesn't have to be such a cheap shot little piece of shit. Sorry. I'm angry. Can you tell?
Yeah. Twitter was really mad at him last night too. And I was like, this is good. Like, he deserves some heat for this. Well,
the league doesn't look at what he does either. So it's a moot point, but whatever.
We will actually be getting to that later.
Oh, good.
I have plans for that talk.
I actually didn't even see it in the list. So go for me. I don't see it.
Okay. Number 2.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Sorry.
Number 2 is Zach Cassian.
What is it? The Juan de Camion, whatever it is. That's what I think of whenever I see his name.
We dodged the bullet.
Mm-hmm. What happened to him last night? He like crumpled and went off the ice.
Yeah, he tried to hit Weber, I think it was, right? And he
missed.
Yeah, or like it hit awkwardly, and he hurt his leg. I think it was. He had to be like he hobbled off the ice.
Yeah.
What a buffoon.
Yeah, not a fan.
He owes Connor McDavid his career and his house probably because he only got paid because of Connor McDavid.
Pretty much. He's kind of like, what was it, the Chris Kunitz with the Crosby? How like he got called to the Olympics because of Crosby?
Yeah, except Chris Kunitz was actually really good at hockey.
Yes, but not as good as...
No, Connor McDavid Sidney Crosby elevated Chris Kunitz the way Connor McDavid elevated Zach Cassian. You know who else Sidney Crosby elevated?
Who?
Brad Marchand. You notice his point production spiked right after that World Championship with Crosby?
No, but I'm not surprised. But you know who else elevated players? Markov.
He made Mike Komisarek an all-star.
Yep, he did. And then Toronto took him, and, well, we saw how that ended. So.
You remember Toronto's 2 compliance buyouts were Komisarek and Grabowski?
Were they? That's funny.
2 Habs they signed from us. I love it. Like, I love that. I think that's amazing. Okay, number 3.
Yes.
John Merrill.
I like him, even though he looks like Joe Dirt.
He does look like Joe Dirt.
Yeah, he does. You know what? He played really well last night. I was really impressed. He was very solid. He actually hit the net, which none of our other defensemen can do. Like, props, man. He was good.
That's where we're at. Props for hitting the net. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I'm impressed. You got the puck on the net. That's better than literally any of our other defensemen.
Okay, number 4. This one's an easy tee up for you.
Okay.
Tony DeAngelo.
Ugh, I don't want him on my team. No, no. Would that be bad if I was like, oh, I take him in a heartbeat?
Well, there was rumors that Mark Bergevin wanted him, right? I know we're a little late to the party on that storyline there, right? But,
considering how much he prides himself in character, the only, and this is me fetching a lot, the only way I could see Mark Bergevin taking him, honestly, is if he thought that we could, like, give him a lobotomy in the room or something. That's the only way I could see that happening. Yeah,
that's not a thing though, right? That's the 3 teams have tried to rehabilitate him now, you know?
I know, but I don't know. I figure like maybe that would help. I don't know.
I question Mark Bergevin's assessment of what leadership is after the last few weeks.
Oh, I'd love to know what it is because I think I don't know. I think he doesn't know what a leader is because I don't think our leaders are our leaders. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too. I like this. Number 5. Are you ready for this one?
5th one. Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, because I saw this name popping up on Twitter, so I wanted to know your thoughts on it. And just like the gut reaction that pops into your head in relation to the Habs, of course.
Okay.
Patrick Roy.
No, thank you for the GM. No, absolutely not. No. I saw that pop up too. No. No, hell no. No. Although if it's him or Pierre Maguire, I'd be very, very conflicted because no for both. But I don't know.
I would choose Patrick Roy over Pierre Maguire, but I think a hard no to both those people.
Yeah, same here. What about this Martin Madden guy?
I don't know who that is.
He's apparently with, I want to say, Colorado. I keep seeing his name pop up, and I'm not sure who that guy is either. And I looked it up, and I was like, he doesn't sound French, but he is. He was actually the general manager of the Quebec Nordiques from the 88 to 90.
That makes me want him even less.
I know. That's what I thought. He's with the Anaheim Ducks. Sorry, I was close. He's with the Anaheim Ducks now.
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, he's 77 years old? Why the hell would we take him? Forget it. Okay, never mind.
That's so Montreal media. Let's get the Quebecois Jim Rutherford, you know?
I take Lou Lamoriello at this point. He seems to be pretty good.
You know what? I'm reading Brian Burke's book now, Burke's Law.
Me too.
It's great. And so like there's that he speaks so highly of Lou Lamoriello. Those first 3 chapters where he's talking about like his days in Providence. That's awesome. Yeah. Lou sounds like a great guy.
I know. So does Brian Burke. Is that weird that I actually think Brian Burke's a good guy now besides his love of fighting?
I think Brian Burke's all right. Like I've never hated him. I think like I don't think he's a wonderful GM, but like he's all the gruff parts of Don Cherry that you kind of wanted to like, but you couldn't because the rest of the package sucked. Like Burke doesn't have the rest of the sucky package, or maybe he does and we just haven't seen it yet. I could be wrong, right? But like I like Brian Burke. He's funny.
He is. His book's really good, by the way. To anybody who's listening, go and download or find the book on Amazon. It's really, really interesting. Or I think you're doing it via.
I listened to it on Audible. Yeah, so on my drive to and from work, I have it on.
Okay, so I'm actually reading it on my Kindle. It's a really interesting book. I'm like 60-something% through. It's really interesting. I like it.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome. So we have 3 games to talk about.
Yes.
I want you to start off. I want you to talk about the game versus the Ottawa Senators.
I wish I slept through it. That was devastating. Like, what the hell? 4-0 to the Senators? Oh, my God. That was not mint, to quote Kotkaniemi and Mete. That was a horrible game. What the hell was that? I'm embarrassed. Oh, I was so embarrassed. Oh, my God. Oh,
so, and again, it was one of those games where, like, they did, like, I think they were the better team, but they couldn't finish anything. They couldn't generate anything. Like both those teams really weren't good, but I feel like we were a little better. Do you agree, or is that? I
honestly don't even remember it. I've blocked it out of my mind because it was horrible. So I remember nothing good from that game. So I'll believe you if you say we were the better team. I don't think I don't know. I honestly don't remember. It was horrible. I remember watching it and being angry and agitated, and I was focusing on that I had schoolwork to do. So
I'm really annoyed that Montreal is going to have to play Ottawa this much. Like, I almost want to be like, let's make new divisions and have Ottawa in the Central and Montreal in the East, you know?
I'd be okay with that. Same with Toronto. Stick them in like the Ontario like Central Division.
Make a division of like Ottawa, Toronto, Buffalo,
Detroit.
Yeah, you get Detroit in there, and then you'd probably get Columbus in there also. You know, you can make that happen.
Except Toronto would probably win the division every year.
Well, Detroit's on their rebuild, so give them a couple of years.
Give it for right now. Toronto's going to kick all their butts, and I would not enjoy that either.
Buffalo was a cup contender to start the year.
Oh, actually, in Ottawa, it tends to beat Toronto. So
that's true.
Yeah, I actually had an interesting stat today on that. It was Montreal is 5-2-0 against Edmonton. Winnipeg is 5-2-0 against us, and Edmonton is 5-2-0 against Winnipeg.
We are the rock, paper, scissors of hockey.
Apparently, it's kind of weird.
I think there's a lot to that, though, right? Like, people don't take into account how much luck and randomness pops into hockey. Like, that's why, you know, the better team doesn't always win. That's so true in hockey. It's so true.
It is. Oh, we only have one more game in hand with Calgary. I thought we had 2. Oh,
and we're what, 6 points up on them?
8. We're 8 points up.
8 points up now, yeah. I feel really good about that, especially since we're playing them tomorrow, right? If we win that game tomorrow, I think we start laughing.
Well, what's interesting is Calgary and Vancouver apparently play each other 4 times at the end of the season.
That's so exciting. It won't matter for us. I think we're good, but ha 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 to them. You saw the storylines about Vancouver winning the game against Toronto the other day?
What storylines? I thought it was hilarious, but what storylines? No.
Oh, they came back from COVID to kick some butt. It's a destiny storyline.
Oh, I just think it's funny that they beat Toronto twice.
I love it. Yeah.
Made me laugh. Anyways, okay, the next game was Montreal versus Edmonton in a 4-1 loss, where we had it wrapped up until that third period. Oh my God. What a shit show. Ugh.
Yeah, like that was another collapse game.
Yeah, epic collapse, which almost happened again last night. Thank God it didn't. But it was like, I don't know what happens to them. And, you know, it was Connor McDavid again taking over the game again. I really wish we had one of those players. Like, you have no idea how badly I want one of those players. But
I think everybody wishes that.
Yeah, but like a lot of teams have it and we don't. And Edmonton doesn't have anything else, but they have that. And it's just so frustrating to watch him. And then he just went right by Edmondson and Petrie like they were pylons, and there went that game right out the window.
My buddies and I were having this conversation, and we didn't come to an agreement. Okay. But the conversation started with a friend of mine saying Connor McDavid is the best player ever.
No.
Well, so we ended up having a really good discussion about it. My argument was there's no way to call that now. Like he might be. But then my buddies, we started fleshing out the ideas, and he said most talented player ever. And then you're like, okay, that's possible. You know, like it's possible.
What about Gretzky?
So do you think Gretzky be putting up those numbers in this time? That's the challenge of the era equivalency, right? Like the thing about Connor McDavid that makes him so special is he has a Wayne Gretzky level brain, but he's 4 times faster.
Right.
So that's the thing. And Gretzky didn't need to be fast because it didn't matter back then, right? You wonder, what kind of player Gretzky would have been today?
Okay, so then you can also wonder what kind of player Connor McDavid would have been back then when they were clutching and grabbing and holding.
Exactly, right? Like that's where our discussion went. That's kind of the road it went down, and it's hard to predict. My buddy was pretty adamant saying Connor McDavid is better than all of them. Time will tell, I guess. But I think he's better than Crosby now.
Yeah, except Crosby's won 2 cups, right?
3 cups.
3 cups, okay, and McDavid's won nothing.
And 2 Olympic gold medals and Memorial Cups. Like Crosby's done everything, right? I think like Crosby for me fits in that top 5 all time. Like I don't know if I put McDavid top 5 all time, you know, like right now, because I do think the career, like the longevity matters. Like if you were to close the books today and all NHL players' careers stopped, I don't like McDavid. I don't know. You know, I don't think so. My gut's telling me no, but I could be wrong.
I think he's great. I just don't. I think he's also a dirty cheap shot artist, in case you didn't get that from my first round of him. But I don't know. I'm actually really sick of playing Edmonton. I can tell you that much.
I hate this division format. I think it's the worst thing ever. Remember how pissed off I was about it before the season started? I was like, this is going to get old really fast. It got old so fast. I hate it.
I said the same thing. I wasn't for this format at all. I'd rather stay in our actual divisions and have the teams be in bubbles because this was horrible. But
yeah, I agree.
Whatever. All right. Last night, Montreal 4-3 win over Edmonton. It happened very scarily at the end. It was a bit of a late night heart attack that I didn't really need. Josh Anderson said, we're going to come out and we're going to Stanley Cup time. Let's go. And I like it when he said that. And then he did what he did last night. 2 goals. Toffoli had a goal. Do you remember Pokeroo?
Who?
Pokeroo. Do you ever watch the Polka Dot Door?
No. I know what the polka dot door is, but I don't know what Pokeroo is.
Pokeroo is like the dinosaur guy, the kangaroo dinosaur guy that used to be, anyways, I tweeted out last night. Only my mother liked this. Nobody else probably even knows what I'm talking about. So there was 2 hosts, and one of them was wearing the Pokeroo costume. So the other host never saw Pokeroo, so they didn't understand or believe what was happening. Because they were like, what do you mean a random kangaroo creature just appeared out of nowhere? And then anyways, I was thinking how Tyler Toffoli and Anderson remind me of that because one's on and one's not, and then they both scored last night.
That's pretty funny. So the Pokeroo myth for Montreal was broken.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Habs are the only team that can take a slam dunk win and turn it into a nail biter. I turned off the game when it was 4-1 with 4 minutes left because I was like, sweet, I'm tired. This is good. I feel good about this, right. Nope. 4-3. What are you talking about? It was 4-1.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, by the way, normally played by the male host in costume, Pokeroo would appear to the female host to perform a pantomime. Upon the second host's return, they would typically express disappointment when informed that they had once again missed Pokeroo. It was Polka Dot Door. And that's what, anyways, you ever watch today's special?
I don't know what that is. Maybe I have, but I don't know.
Oh my God, you're killing me here, Noah. You're not that much younger than me. Yes,
I watch Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and, Biker Mice from Mars.
But this was before that. That's okay. Anyways, yes, I agree. It was 4-3. It was crazy. I actually watched it and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There was 1 minute and 11 or 13 seconds left, and they put Paul Byron on the ice with I think Anderson and I want to say Deneau or something. And I was like, oh my God, just clear the zone. And then Anderson went for the hat trick and his stick was broken. He didn't know when he shot and the stick exploded. And then it was 1 second left and the game was over.
But we won it.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big win. Super important. I'm happy we got it. We take that W any day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good job, Habs. Now tomorrow I expect them to suck again, but I hope not.
So tomorrow is kind of I think for me, we talked about they had to come out of that 5-game series with Calgary with a 500 record, right? Where we split it 1-1 so far. I feel like tomorrow's a really big game for us, and if we win it, we're feeling great.
I hope so. I hope we win it. We'll see tomorrow.
All right. So that's some in terms of how do we win it, there's some big ticket talk there that I wanted to dive into.
Okay.
The first piece is all about this concept of leadership and character that's been flying around. So there were some interviews with some Habs players, right? Did you see the Shea Weber interview?
I did not. I read about it.
So Shea Weber was interviewed, and I think it was Arpin who asked him the question and was like, do you want to talk about your performance over the last few games? Because it's declined a little bit, whatever. And Weber was like, this is a team sport, isn't it? He didn't even want to comment on it. And then I forget what Jonathan Drouin said. Drouin had another one that was just
he said that somebody asked him about his lack of goals in the past 25 games. He goes, there's a column to the right. Yeah.
Imagine if Pacioretty said that.
Oh my God. Crazy.
Right? So we talk about leadership so much on the team. On this team, those are not leadership statements.
No.
When I think about leadership, the first thing that comes to mind now is I look at Tyler Toffoli and I look at Josh Anderson, and it's not the fact that they're scoring goals. It's that these guys are new in the room and they're relentless players. They try every single game. They don't take a night off. They don't take a shift off. I think it's hard right now to make an argument that they're not real leaders in that room.
I agree. I also would add Jake Allen into that.
Interesting. How come?
If you listen to when he talks, he's very he's very calm and soothing, but he also says, like, look, he owns up to his mistakes. He owns up to his issues. He owns up to what the team's doing. I really like the way he speaks, and I think he's charismatic, and I think he is a leader in that room. I really do.
So yeah, Jake Allen, the thing with Jake Allen, like I wonder if because he got traded to Montreal. Yeah, he doesn't have a choice in the trade, but he re-signed right away. I wonder if he's one of those guys who's just like, he wants to win in Montreal, right? Like, and I know he played here in juniors. You wonder a lot about that's a character piece, right? Like, he's already got his Stanley Cup. He doesn't have to prove anything. He could have gone anywhere he wanted. If he didn't want to be in Montreal, he wouldn't have had to re-sign. He could have done this 1-year deal and arguably probably would have gotten more money re-signing after this season, right? So, like, to me, that's a leadership thing. And Tyler Toffoli, also Stanley Cup winner, he knows what it takes. He comes to the ice and he does his job. And he comes from a locker room in the Kings, which was one of the best locker rooms in the league at the time, right? Like, that's a tight-knit group of people. And Josh Anderson's got something to prove because he missed a year, Like, I think, like, I look at players leading by their performance on the ice, and yeah, those three all stand out. That's true. That to me is leadership.
Do you like Anderson more than you did before he signed with us, or when he signed with us?
Yes. So I liked Josh Anderson in Columbus. Then I started to think he was a little overrated because he had that year with Panarin, which was awesome. But then he took a step back, and even though he was playing through injury, I thought he looked slower, didn't look the same, right? So I was super skeptical of that trade when he came here, but he's on a whole other level. And I found that after the Domi trade, I read that story about him coming to watch the Montreal-Pittsburgh playoff game.
Yep.
And that kind of was like, oh, okay, so there's something to this, like he likes the team. It's not just a trade, And that thing, like, he likes the Habs. He comes from a Habs fan family. Like, that explains a little bit, right? Like, he wants to be here.
As you know, I've always been an Anderson Atkinson fan in Columbus, and I'd still love to get Atkinson. He's so good, but I really like Anderson. I think he's been great, and he's exactly what we needed, even though we had to give up Domi for him. And would you switch Domi for Drouin right now?
I would. I don't know if that's the right decision for the team, but I like Max Domi a lot, so I would do it.
Yeah,
and
I would.
He's been benched 2 games in a row now. Like, we'll see if he's benched tonight also, but he's been healthy scratched 2 games so far.
Did they win the second game? I know they lost the first.
They did or did not? I don't know.
I heard Nathan Gerby's playing tonight.
I love Nathan Gerby. That's awesome.
I root for him, even though he's like 5'2".
He's the smallest player in the league until Cole Caulfield steps up.
They lost Columbus, by the way. They lost their last 4. No.
Oh, what's funny? Speaking of Columbus and trades, do you know who the highest scoring player of the Dubois trade is? It's Roslovic. I know. I love it.
Yes, I think it's funny. Yep. I guess he gets along well with Torts, unlike everyone else.
We'll see what happens next year when Torts is no longer there.
Yeah, he'll be gone. All right, cool. Next.
So, like that, yeah. So to me, it's like Toffoli, Anderson, Allen. That's real leadership. Last night, Shea Weber was delivering some hits. Right, he was playing physical. Weber had a good game. Right, like he looked good, which is great.
He had a good game the night before too with his stick. His stick was in the right places. Yeah.
And everyone's kind of like, Shea Weber's back, baby. What? It's been like 2 games. Is he back yet? I don't know. Right. I feel like there needs to be a good long look in the mirror as to what kind of game Shea Weber wants to play next season. Right.
Yeah. I also think Sherratt was good with him, and Sherratt was playing great too.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't notice Sherratt standing out too much, which is probably a good thing.
Same. I didn't notice Weber or Sherratt, which is a good thing.
Sherratt had like 9 hits last night, I think, huh?
I know, it's crazy. So did Byron.
Yeah, Byron had 7, which is hilarious because, like, what is a Paul Byron hit? I don't know.
It must feel like a flea hitting you or something.
Yeah, it's like a mosquito buzzing around your head.
Exactly. Unless it's Connor McDavid's elbow and then it just goes right into his head. But whatever.
It's like Shea Weber's still a leader in the room, right? Like the team still looks up to him. He still matters. Don't get me wrong. He's an important part of this team, right? But if you're taking the leadership upstairs now, we have that 1 recall left. Shouldn't that leadership decision be to try out Cole Caulfield? What are they waiting for?
So apparently there's a whole bunch of cap implications, but there was something about how if they put Lindgren instead of Primo as a backup, they could call Cole Caulfield up because we have the cap space.
So do you think, so here's my only thoughts on this. Like I have it's like one of two things for me. Like either they're bad at what they do and they're just going to leave him on the taxi squad and not play him ever, which is weird. Or they're hoping to get through this Calgary series, win the series so that they're kind of locked into a playoff spot and then let him start playing without much pressure. But Caufield's always been a pressure player, so I don't know if that's the right decision.
I think Caufield will only add to our lineup. He's a goal scorer. We need goals. That's what we need to get to win. I understand if you don't. I mean, as I was watching last night, I honestly said to myself, when it was getting crazy and they were just hitting and it was just hits upon hits, I was like, thank God Caufield's not playing because he would have been like pummeled. And I think McDavid would have went after him, to be honest. However, it's not going to get easier in the schedule. So he has to get in there anyways because, I mean, Calgary hits, Ottawa hits. Ottawa's also all children, but they hit. So I don't know. I think it's time to bring him up. And I don't think we have to lock anything up. I think he's going to help us lock anything up. You know what I mean? But if they really are waiting for an injury, maybe someone should like fake something, you know?
But like there are call-ups and there are emergency recalls, right? Like you can call him up, have him playing, and if he sucks, it won't kill his development. Like, it won't. It's 10 games. Who cares, right?
We don't have the cap space though. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, you can figure that part out, right? Like it's very figure outable. You can waive someone. You mentioned that Lindgren Primo thing, right? Like
there's ways. Yes.
So like get him on the team, have him at least try, and then if you have another player get injured, then you have an emergency recall for somebody else. But
I agree.
That could be like Arpin Bass was writing about in The Athletic earlier this week or a couple days ago, whatever it was, right? But Caufield succeeded at every level he's played at so far. Like he relishes those challenges. Yeah. Why are we worried about it hurting him? Like, shouldn't we be banking on hoping that the upside's there?
I am like the biggest Caufield fan, as you know. I'm the number one of his president. I'm president of the fan club. I love this kid. I want him in the lineup like 3 months ago, last year. Like I want him in the lineup. I am not as worried about his development at all. I'm just whatever happens. However, I am a little bit concerned about just how I just hope no one purposely seeks him out to hurt him. That's all.
That won't happen any more than it does in any other game. Cole Caufield is not the best player in the league, right? Like people hit people all the time. If he can't take a hit, next year he won't be any better at taking a hit.
I agree. And what's interesting is if you watched him when he was getting hit, he's so strong on his legs that he just like they kind of the way Cassian ran into Weber last night, he kind of like rebounded off of him. Whenever they hit Caufield, like the other person got more hurt than Caufield did. You know what I mean? So yeah. I agree. Let's bring him up. Let's try him. Let's play him. Let's see what happens. But I don't know what their hesitancy is besides the cap hit, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous. And Bergevin and his people mismanage the cap. It's not really our fault. Like bring Caufield in. That's what we need, you know? Why is he on this road trip if he's not going to play? To get acquainted with the guys? Okay. But like they could do that at home. You know?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see.
Anyways, let's swing around the league. There's a couple of things to look for this weekend. Some game updates. So Friday, you're not watching anything except for Montreal-Calgary. That game is super important. That's the one you're going for. It's a 9 o'clock start. There are some 7 o'clock games, but who cares? You're not going to be able to finish those games, so you're only focused on Montreal-Calgary. However, Saturday, there's a 1 o'clock game. It's Pittsburgh versus New Jersey. If things fall properly in terms of goals scored, regulation wins, etc., it's possible that Pittsburgh could snag first place in their division. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Like every time we talked about it, every time you think Pittsburgh's out, they come on back and they turn it on and they go for it. Sidney Crosby's on absolute fire right now. It's crazy watching this guy play. He knows how to turn it on and win. So I'm excited to see. Like I like it because at this stage of their career, now that they've missed they haven't been good in the playoffs the past few years. You know, I think I can almost root for the Penguins a little bit. Not against us. Don't get me wrong. Like I hope that I love that we smoked them, right? But they're not like the big bad Penguins anymore.
No,
you know, like they're just a good team that's good to watch. You know.
Yeah, they're fun. They are a fun team.
And then I figured Sunday's a quiet day. There's only 4 games on a normally crazy schedule, but it's Pittsburgh versus Boston. So Pittsburgh's back again. The interesting thing is that if you look at the standings, Boston is not guaranteed a playoff spot. They have to work for it. So good Boston team is going to have to play a streaking Pittsburgh team, hoping to keep it a lock on their playoff spot with the Rangers chasing them.
I love that Boston's not the top seed right now. Love it.
So, like, Boston, we all kind of figured they were a lock to make the playoffs, and they're still looking good-ish. But wouldn't it be the best storyline ever if they acquire Taylor Hall and miss the playoffs?
Yes, that would be.
It would be the best thing ever. It would be almost like Toronto missing the playoffs, like that level of amazing.
Especially because isn't that what Taylor Hall is known for? Is he goes to the team, then they flunk out.
Yeah, well, the scary thing about that is then Boston's going to win first overall, but
Right.
Which they can't do that this year. Did they officially change the draft lottery rules?
They changed it, but I don't understand really what it is. But they did.
You can only move up 5 spots. I think it is if you win.
Right. Yeah.
Which I don't like that. I think the rules the way they were the last couple of years were perfect.
I don't. I think they should definitely have you only draft in the top 3 like once every 5 or 6 years, and every team should alternate for first overall every year. That's my opinion. It's not fair.
I would never want an alternate for first overall, but I'm definitely okay with the idea of you can't win the lottery twice. So the way it would work for me is you can win the lottery a second time, but you could only move up 1 spot, let's say.
For me, it would be you can win the lottery once every 10 years, and every team has a shot at first overall every year. I think that's way more fair.
I'm okay with every team having a shot at first overall. I don't care if the Stanley Cup winner wins first overall. That's fine by me. I don't care.
I think it should. Every team goes into that draw, and the same team can't win though. It's like let's say we won it this year, which would be a horrible idea, but whatever. Let's say we won it this year, and then we can't win it for 10 more years though. I would be okay with that as long as we were in. But every other team had the chance. You know what I mean? That's what they should do, personally.
It would not be horrible if we won it this year, by the way.
Okay, but I'm just saying compared to, it's no generational talent this year is what I'm saying.
Right, but that's rare anyways.
Really? Toronto, Edmonton.
Edmonton got a generational player in Connor McDavid. I would say Toronto got a generational player in Austin Matthews. Who else has been generational as the first overall?
Crosby.
That was 16 years ago.
Okay, still Ovechkin.
That was 17 years ago.
I don't care how long ago it was.
That's it, right? So you've had 4 generational players in 20 years?
McKinnon?
He's not generational. I would not call him generational.
Really? I would. He's great.
He's great. He's a top line talent, but he's not unique amongst his peers. Amazing. He's not Connor McDavid. He's not close to Connor McDavid.
I would take him on my team any day.
Well, yeah, of course. That's a no-brainer,
Maybe I'm just a star for talent, but anyways, whatever.
This year, there's a couple of different projected first overalls, but the 2 that kind of are leading the list mostly, there's Owen Power, who's got a November 22nd birthday, by the way. Love it. But he's a 6'4", 6'5", big skating left shot defenseman.
Yeah, they were comparing him to Victor Hedman, but he would come in second to Hedman in every category.
Yeah, he's like a light Hedman, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is Dylan Ganther from the Edmonton Oil Kings, who's a sniping winger.
Yep.
Take him. Yep. Okay.
I take him too, but I'm just saying though, but they aren't elite talent. That's what I was saying. Like generational is what I'm indicating. But yeah.
And that was when we were talking about the first 1C argument, right? Generational is such a far gap away from good.
Right. Yeah. Well, I would like good players right now too. I take any of that. I'm not that anyway.
All right, we're going to keep rolling. Did you hear Rob Leonard's comments?
I did.
What do you think of it?
I understand his point. I do. I think he should realize we're all kind of in the same boat. I'm not making millions of dollars to play a sport that I love every single night. I'm stuck home all the time. I understand he thinks the league did him wrong, and I can understand why he'd be pissed off at that, especially if they really did promise that. I also think that the way to getting, however, his freedom is to take the vaccine. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think my first instinct is I love that he's speaking his mind. I think it's good. I think the NHL doesn't do that enough, its players, right? I don't know if the NHL did promise them that, but if they did say that, because he got vaccinated, right? Is my understanding?
Yes, and he was on the fence about getting vaccinated, and then he got vaccinated. But
his understanding is that if they got vaccinated, restrictions would loosen on them, and that didn't happen. So if that's the case, if the NHL said that and then they didn't go through with it. He's got a valid critique there, but if they didn't promise him, that was just his interpretation, that he's wrong, right? But his point about mental health and this whole thing is so on point, right?
Yes, and that
goes back to they're humans. They're not just, yes, they're paid a lot, but they're still human beings, and there's a lot more to think about than just you're getting paid,
No, for sure. And the truth is, look, we're, again, as I said, I'm not being paid, currently unemployed, sitting in my house, not being paid. I can't go anywhere or do anything either. And I'm stuck home, and I have PTSD, and I'm okay now, but I had it growing up. And there's just a lot of things that, look, I can go to the grocery store. I don't like to. I'd rather have curbside pickup and not have to go inside. Why? Because I'm terrified of catching COVID, which I'm currently actually awaiting a COVID results test. Lucky me. So, and not from anything I did. It was somebody who I know is close contact, and they came to my house to do something, and now I'm terrified, So, and I am vaccinated on top of that. So is it worth the risk for me? No, I'd rather stay home and not do it, but that's just my opinion on it, So But my mental health is, I'm fortunate that I have a very strong mindset, and I keep myself entertained very easily, and I go to my parents' house. That's the only place I ever go. It's the only place I've been in months is my parents' house. So, but
it's hard on everyone. It's rough, huh?
It's very hard, and it sucks. But you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. And even if I was double vaccinated, which I hope to be in August 4th, I still don't want to leave my house. I'm scared. I don't want to catch this. And as I said, I'm awaiting a COVID test. I'm terrified. And in case I sound stuffy, I think it's allergies, but it may be COVID. We'll find out.
Jeez.
Hopefully allergies.
Do you want a genuine laugh to kind of flip this back to the positive?
Yes, please.
Toronto's goaltending.
You mean how Jack Campbell's like the new king of the world?
Yeah, it was like Jack Campbell's going to be a starting goaltender. You can already tell by the way he plays, he's a starting goaltender. By the way, guys, he's played 30 NHL games so far. Maybe wait. No, you can tell by the way he's playing. He's been garbage, and Riddick lost the last game, but Campbell's been garbage the last 5 games he's played.
Yeah, it made me laugh. I really like it.
I love it.
I love it too. It makes me laugh. Anything that makes Toronto fail makes me laugh.
Yeah, so one little other Toronto fail. Congrats to former Toronto Maple Leafs Patrick Marleau on breaking Gordie Howe's record.
Yes, I love that the team went over and shook his hands. I think it was the Wild.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. Good job.
Awesome, and now we're just going to head out to a word for our sponsor. We'll be right back. Are you excited to see your favorite prospect join your team? Don't get too excited because they're going back to school for one more year. Sorry, folks. That's a PSA. All right, we're back. I've got some contenders and pretenders. Do you have contenders and pretenders this week?
No, but I can try to think of some while you're talking.
Okay, I've got some contenders and pretenders. I'm going to start with my contenders. First contender of the week was Josh Anderson.
Yes, I would agree.
I love the way he brought it. That's a leadership. He brought it. He knows what to say. He faces adversity head on, and he went out and performed. He put his money where his mouth is. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league, but if I had the Hart Trophy vote, I'd give it to him because that's why I don't have Hart Trophy votes.
I agree with you on that. He's definitely a contender this week. Yep.
My second contender, I love it. It's Taylor Hall for matching his Buffalo Sabres goal total in 2 games.
I agree with you on that too. Yeah.
Good job, Taylor Hall. You're not Mr. Struggle anymore, but if your team misses the playoffs, that'll be juicy. And then my third one, my star of the week that I wanted to talk about is Jack Hahn. Do you know who Jack Hahn is?
I don't think so.
So Jack Hahn is a writer right now. He is an author, but he is a former Montreal McGill alumni. He worked for in the hockey department at McGill, and he was recently an assistant coach with the Marlies, the Toronto Marlies. Oh. Very smart hockey mind. He wrote a really good Twitter thread about Montreal because he's a Habs fan, right?
Oh, I know who he is. Yes. Sorry, yes.
So I'll share the link with you, and we can put it up on the Twitter page so people can read the thread. But he wrote a really good thread about how Toronto's done so well building their team and their culture. Whereas
Okay.
Montreal always seems to struggle attracting talent. And he linked it to their junior hockey programs. And it was this really great thread. And he talked about the last part of it being like, why is there no junior Canadians team? Right? Like, why does that not exist? You know, like, where are they? And he's like, oh, wait, the junior Canadians are actually a Toronto hockey team, like in the GTHL. He talked about the importance of junior hockey building that franchise. And he had a quote that he wrote that really stood out to me that I think applies to Montreal. And it really got my head thinking, like spinning. He said, the Toronto Maple Leafs now have a critical mass of players who can make elite plays. But with the addition of Nick Foligno, etc., those players, they now also have a critical mass of players who will die for their crest. They acquired those players in the correct order. So that's all about, you know, these players like Tavares, Thornton, Simmons, Foligno. They all grew up cheering for the Leafs. They went out, they played hockey in the GTA. They moved on to go have their careers, and then they came back in their primes ready to help their childhood team win. Montreal never has that person because there's not a lot of hockey players that come out of the queue in general, or Montreal in general now, right? Like there's a development missing in Montreal hockey.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was like, you know, like years, like the Habs need to invest in a local team, and you won't see any results in years 5 through 10. But year 11, you're going to see those players start coming back to your team. You're going to see superstars who want to come home and win cups.
I wish that was true.
Yeah,
Sidney Crosby. Yeah.
He's not a local though, right? He's Halifax.
I know, but he loves the Habs.
He does. Well, I don't know if he still does. I know he cheered for him growing up.
Okay,
hopefully he still does, because we'll take him in his last year, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my bottom, my pretenders of the week that I want to talk about. First up is Steve Simmons, because he was trying to criticize Patrick Marleau. You suck. You write for the Toronto Sun. I don't know what else there is to say. You're trash. So stop being trash, please, and be better in life, you know?
Right.
Even Elliot Friedman was like, I don't see how you're trashing Patrick Marleau right now. Like when Elliot Friedman calls somebody out, like, that's bad. You know?
Yeah.
And then my second is Connor McDavid.
Okay.
For his play, because I expect better from the flagship player in the league. Because if he's throwing hits, we can't make arguments that players can't throw hits.
Right.
And then my last pretender of the week goes back to what you were talking about before, Gary Bettman and the NHL leadership for allowing people like Connor McDavid to get hit, therefore resulting in more hits around the league being taken, more elbows, more suspendable hits. The NHL this whole McDavid thing with Montreal, and I'm certain watching it that it's not just with Montreal, but we notice it because he's playing our team. Right? Yeah. Like it's a symptom of something larger where we're allowing these kind of things to happen. McDavid should not be allowed to do that, but they're afraid to punish him because it happens to him. Get the headshots out of the game. Just stop it.
No, you're right. I agree. And they should penalize McDavid and kick him out for a couple of games, suspend him, preferably when they have to play us again next. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Take him out, win the series. Easy. Yep.
And then I've got the fumble of the week. The fumble of the week is every single NHL team and the NHL itself, because the verdict came down in the George Floyd murder trial where Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all counts. Not a single freaking team could make a statement worth anything. Every single team wrote a fluff statement. They could not talk about systemic racism properly. They couldn't name George Floyd. They couldn't call it murder. They fluffed around, and it's just proof that the NHL really doesn't give a crap about this kind of stuff. No one could say what exactly happened. And it's like, if you want a really great statement, Ben and Jerry's wrote a crazy good statement on the whole thing, calling it what it is. And they got to talk about it. And it's not like at this point in time, you can say it's murder. He got convicted. If you were afraid before, that sucks also, but I get it. But now it's real, you can say it,
No, for sure.
No one bothered you. It sucked. It was super disappointing, but not in the least a bit surprising because the NHL is spectacularly bad at anything involving equality. So, yeah.
You're not surprised, but yeah.
But my rant for this week that I wanted to go on that I thought was important, and I wanted you to help me out with it.
Sure.
Trade deadline's over.
Yeah.
You know where we're at in the playoff spot. We're not guaranteed, but we're looking all right. It is time to enjoy hockey again. My question to you is this, that will turn into a total chat as we wrap this up. How, with the playoffs on the line, what are the key things you need in order to enjoy watching a hockey game? Aside from the win.
Well, I want them to clinch a playoff berth. I know Vegas did last night, and I retweeted saying, what's a playoff berth? Because, it's been a while. So I think being comfortably, like clinching a playoff berth to me is number one, because then I can relax for like probably like a day with this team. And then I'm going to be nervous again. However, I don't enjoy hockey. I realize that. I just watch it with like my butt cheeks clenched all the time. That's what I've discovered. It's like a whole new Kegel exercise, but the other way. It's true. It's like I'm always so tense watching them play. I just watch hockey very like I'm nervous whenever I watch the game. So I feel like at the beginning of the season, I'm not as nervous. And then as it gets closer and closer to playoffs, I'm just like an irritated mess. So I don't know. I think I watch it to get out my frustration, but I end up just getting more frustration. So enjoying hockey isn't really my thing. What about you?
So I'm usually a pretty stress-free hockey watcher, except for the playoffs. I get really stressed in the playoffs. During the regular season, I normally am fine with wins and losses. You know, like I obviously want them to win every single game, but I'm usually pretty comfortable with the losses. I think this season I've been a little more disappointed by the losses because we set such a high bar to start, and we set a lofty expectation. Sorry, I didn't set the expectation. Marc Bergevin set the expectation, right? Like yep. He's the one who came out and said it. So, you know, it might be a little bit his fault, but it's my fault for believing him. But I think that my expectations now are just to not focus so much on the end score of the game and just look for good tidbits here and there. Like I want to dig in more on Tyler Toffoli and Josh Anderson. I want to watch Kotkaniemi keep developing because he's getting a little better each game, you know.
Yep, he's great last night.
I'm going to enjoy watching Eric Gustafsson join the lineup and see what he brings, you know. So yeah. I think I'm going to make hockey simpler for me over the next couple of weeks because things are weird enough that I don't want my hockey to be stressful anymore.
I feel the same way, and I'm going to start trying to do that too. And then you'll see me nitpicking, I'm sure, on everybody in about, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah. Like one thing that Jack Hunt said in that article that I thought was great is like, if you want your team to be, he taught the concept when you want your team to be more than a team. And I think Montreal fans always want our team to be more than a team. Like it's special to us. Yeah. And because of that, we get upset about it. We get angry about it. Right. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with being passionate about your team. Right. But I'm going to make a little commitment to myself to be a little more fun loving with my hockey.
I'm going to try that too. Good luck to everybody who follows me on Twitter. My teacher actually commented last night. She's like, Ashley, I've noticed you tweet a lot about the Habs. You really are a really big fan. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep, I am. So, yeah, I agree. Let's try that. Let's try being a bit more positive. Let's try.
That's our fumble puck commitment. We'll see if we fumble it or not.
Yeah, we'll try doing like a positive take of this team how about every week? No, every game we'll tweet out something positive that the team did.
That's our commitment. I like it.
Okay, so that's our new thing. It's going to be our positive moment. We'll have a better name for that, but yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, Sherrod or not? Who have you got?
I'm going to go with Sherrod.
Hey, he made his list.
He made the list. He should have made it probably the first week, but Ashley was dumb and kept putting other people ahead of him. He's just so cute, Ben Sherrod. He's so dreamy.
He's awesome, and I remember how angry I was when we signed him, and then he made me eat my words, and I loved it. And then he was medium, and now I hope he's back to being himself again.
Yeah, and he's so adorable. He's just so cute. My mother has a huge crush on him, too. It's not just me.
He's a good-looking guy. I get that.
He is. He really is. But yeah. Anyways, cool.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. I don't have a moment in hospitality this week. I'm going to save my chat for next week because next week I get to start gearing everyone up for Mother's Day because I'm going to be like Mother's Day is a Sunday. So we'll be recording after my Mother's Day shift, which is going to be special. I'll tell that story next week.
Okay. When is Mother's Day this year? Do you even know?
Sunday the 9th.
Oh, well, at least you know. Okay, cool. I might want to think
it's a day that will live in infamy, Mother's Day 2020. I'll tell you all about it next week. It's so exciting.
Oh, really? I can't wait to hear about it. So awesome. Everybody, as you know, check us out on all of our social media channels at FumblePuckPod, on Facebook at FumblePuck Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you're notified whenever we release a new episode. We're sorry that this week's took a little bit longer. School and work got in the way for the two of us, but we will try to be more consistent if we can. And if not, you just get a longer Thursday version. So, yep.
There you go.
Awesome. Go Habs, go.
Awesome. Have a great week, everybody.